Yeah, rightfully so. I farted for the sake of this dump treating me like shit, homie. Yeah, that's right. This is for my dump. I farted loudly and proudly. With a car like that, motherfucker, shit like that, man. That's right. Place treating me like I have special needs and shit like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Fuck out of here with that shit. So I just, in all seriousness, I just want to reflect briefly on the conversation that me and Paola just had. I know she's been very busy with her current job, and she's a lot busier than she ever was busy in this dump where I just barely left, But I want to touch on what basically what she said as I told her about some of the things that just irritated me recently, and one of them was the Halloween contest. Look, I'm gonna say it again. I didn't really tell her, but the prizes were not even that great to me. They didn't stand out. I could have told her that, but I just want her to get the concept of how it was, how she would react when I told her that somebody from the service department had won the Halloween cubicle contest, even though her desk didn't have really as many decorations as mine, right? I mean, I don't know what the hell they're looking for as far as what is the message? What are they? It just goes to further show favoritism. And guess what? She reacted and she said, "What the hell?" Huh? She said, "What the hell?" Yeah, rightfully so, because Amari even said that it was unfair. It was unfair for that service girl to win it. But you know what she said after that? Of course she would win because it's a service department. Of course she would win because it's a service department. Yeah, because it's a service, and how they treated her wrong and all that. But it's just refreshing for me to have conversations like this with her, and especially with Lisa too, because both of them I went through a whole lot. All right, and I'm sure most of the other guys too, that including the almost 20 people that left. So and she even told me before, hey, you gotta leave that place. I've been telling you over and over again at a different field. Try to get something from a different field. Just leave that place. And she's been saying it over and over, right? So look, man, it's she fell for me, I know she knows that I've been trying to get the hell out of there, and she knows I'm still there, and yeah, it's like what she said earlier, because I asked her about if her company is treating her 100 times better, and it said, yeah, 100 times better than this dump ever has. You know what I'm saying? But I did want to get into this main topic, though. I just wanted to touch on this for a little bit, I just want to express just my outrage, and just knowing that I've just had a terrible day. Of course, how many more terrible days am I gonna have? For as long as I'm in this dump, let that sink in. Anyways, let me just touch into the short topic here, okay? All right, so this topic right here is just basically, well, it's really Julio and Tristan, as these two, ex-close friends of mine, are, when we were friends, that they're two of the most accomplished. I'm not really going to go so much into the details of how they are the two most accomplished friends I ever had in my life. Also, two most impactful friends I ever had. I wouldn't be this version of me. I'm talking about not now, not this me that I am right now. Obviously, my worst that I've been that led to both of these guys having parting ways with me. But I'm talking about like, years ago, like when these guys were around. Both of these guys have really, impacted me, on how they made me to be a much better version of myself than I was back then. And I know it started with Tristan, that he was, because he was essentially my neighbor, even though we're not exactly neighbors. We only live like about a couple of minutes from one another, right? So we've hung out a whole lot, and he gave me so much impact on just being the guy to go out and a lot of places, just for such. He's an outdoor guy, you know what I'm saying? And then when Julio came in, he taught me so much more as to how I should present myself in life, right? Present myself in a way that, I can be a stronger version of myself than I was, before we reunited, right? Especially when it comes to approaching people in general, and look how far I've gotten, like, several years later, right? So I gotta be thankful to have two of these guys who, to me, have accomplished a whole lot, and they are, to me, two of the most accomplished friends I ever had. And so this is not for me to diminish, this is not a video about, the struggles in our friendships. No, this is a video where I'm thanking these guys for getting me this far, right? So I just want to say, that's how you guys have gotten me this far in life, and with a lot of hangouts that we did. Yes, I've traveled with both of these guys. With Tristan, I think I only traveled with him once. With Julio, I traveled with him about a couple times already. Two of them are with me, him, and Robbie, right? And just to see where I'm at. I mean, not where I'm at now. Obviously, I'm washed since I'm still in this dump. But to see where I was, when these guys were around, they really set the tone as far as making me somebody, different, in that I would be a much better version of myself. And to their credit, I have. My social life got better, only for a short period of time, though. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got a lot of these friends that I had before, and a lot of them were even female friends. Hell, who would have thought I was gonna get this far to have this many female friends? It's all about just having the swag, having the confidence, right? And that's what I had, right? So to get this far, I even have still some of them to this day. Obviously, Mari and Sam are the remaining ones. Resha and Mercy are the other ones, right? So I still got about a few, right? But I just know that right now, the times we're living in is pretty different. So, for the most part, though, I wouldn't have gotten this far to where I think, like, let's be honest, I think without both of these guys, I don't think I'm going to have the same kind of footprint on how I was, I had set the record of 9-1 both times, or actually more so in the 2010s. But Tristan was actually the first to start, because we started becoming friends in 2004, close friends, right? And so we started doing some hangouts, like doing a whole lot in 2007 all the way, and from there he was part of, one of my 2000s was 9-1. And then when me and Julio reunited in the 2010s, with Tristan and I continuing our friendship despite the Hollywood incident that got us to not talk about for some reason a couple of years, with both of those guys still in, they helped me to, to set a 9-1 record as well in the 2010s. Now, obviously, right now it's different in the 2020s. Obviously, I know my situation. These guys know it as well. But things have just not been the same, and I know I got to work on. It is up to me now to figure things out. Obviously, I know I got to get a new job, which I've been trying so hard to do for the past 3 years. But that's only going to take me and me only to really do it, because, these guys can advise me as much as they can, but at the end of the day, it's only a new job that's going to make me a better person. So, but for the most part, I just wanted to touch on what they have, done to set the tone to make me a better person, a much better version of myself than I was, before these guys came into the picture. All right, especially before Julio became a nutballer, and the same with Tristan, right? So I just thought I'd touch on that, and so I mean, I gotta thank them, even though the past is the past now. But just want to thank these guys for all that they've done. So that's all I gotta say about it. Tell me what you guys think.